This hilarious tweet went viral recently of a billionaire trying to give advice on how to pick up women. The tweet reads, I hear from many young men that they find it difficult to meet young women in a public setting. In other words, the online culture has destroyed the ability to spontaneously meet strangers. As such, I thought I would share a few words that I used in my youth to meet someone that I found compelling. Compelling is a funny word to use. He continues, I would ask, may I meet you? Before engaging further in conversation. I almost never got a no. And he goes on to say how this strategy is effective for all men and women and even same-sex interactions. But oh man, this tweet is probably the reason you're seeing "May I meet you" on your timelines, because what the hell is that? The guy who said that, his name is Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman has a net worth of $9.3 billion. So naturally, when this tweet went viral, the internet did what the internet does best, and they roasted him. With the main sentiment being that going up to a woman in 2025 and saying, may I meet you, would never work unless you're a billionaire. But to give Bill some slack, he is like 60 years old, and he was referring to how he used to pick up women in his youth before he became a billionaire. Although this pickup line is atrocious and sounds like something you get in a spam text, people's reaction to it is a sign of how things have changed from back in Bill's day to now. And that is what we're going to talk about today. What has changed in dating between heterosexual men and women? The short answer, we are not living in Bill's era anymore. We went from women needing us to get access to things to women who can get things on their own. And that change has upset the old traditional structure of men providing for women and the family. Now, whether you agree with it or not, the traditional household was the foundation of the family in the US for a very long time. And for a variety of reasons, this is not the case anymore. So without that clear structure of man get job, man provide, woman take care of house and kids, it creates conversation of what is actually expected from one another. And naturally, there's a bit of chaos. And that's where you get this whole online gender war. Don't get me wrong. Men and women have always been at odds. We will never completely see eye to eye, but the internet makes it so much worse. If you've been on social media sometime in the last decade, chances are you've seen a wild tweet like this at least 100 times. And for those of you not looking at your screen, the tweet says, I think men are becoming too content with being useless. You guys can't fix things, can't build, don't pay for things, struggling to plan dates. Like, what are you really here for? As inflammatory as that tweet is, I think it underscores my point. Here we have a woman who clearly wants a relationship and is upset because her standards are not being met. But like I said, with the old rule book being thrown out, where does it say that a man should fix things, should pay the bills, should build things, and plan dates? Nowhere. It could be assumed based on the past that the man should do these things, but that is much more of a topic that should be discussed in private between you and your partner. Not on the internet. Bringing it to the internet only adds fuel to the fire and causes people to generalize. I know it's going to be hard for a lot of you to accept this, but this is not how every woman feels. I would go as far as to say that the woman in this tweet is the loud minority of younger women, because that's how social media works. It's not a reflection of real life. They take the most divisive topics and they put it in front of you so that you stay on the app longer. So what is real? What's real is women don't need to put men at the center of their lives anymore, the same way they did in previous generations. Back in your grandpa's day, he could go up to a woman and say something stupid like, may I meet you? And the woman would be more receptive to it because a man could give her access to things like a family and a home. That is not the case today. They are less dependent on men because they have freedom, careers, homes, and the ability to have kids on their own if they choose. Meaning, if they are seeking a relationship, it is a choice instead of a survival need. Hey, quick edit, but I know the statement, women don't need men, can be triggering, and I personally hate seeing people say that. So I want to be crystal clear about what I mean. I'm referring to if a woman wanted to start a family by herself, she technically could. Our current level of technology can help her get pregnant without a man, and then she'd be able to work to support her kids. Whereas a guy can't technically pass on his genes without a woman. I'm not talking about anything beyond that. just creating and raising a family. Because on a societal level, men and women 100% do need each other. Whether it's just having a community, getting laws passed, whatever. We need the other half of the population to keep this thing running. So that's what I mean when I say this. I am specifically talking about when it comes to relationships and having a family. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now back to the video. So the way I see it, if you are a man seeking a relationship, you have a few choices. You could either try to be that traditional man and be the provider, but understand that that is going to come with extreme financial responsibility, so you need to be well off. And in that case, by all means, approach women in your Rolls Royce and ask, "May I meet you?" Depending on the woman, that might just work. But on the other hand, you can have a more modern relationship where you and your partner are a team and you split responsibilities. This is inherently more challenging to manage, but with you and your partner being equals, hopefully this means y'all are choosing each other for the right reasons. And of course, there is a lot of nuance. I'm being purposefully black and white and saying there's only traditional and modern relationships because the reality is that there's a billion different types of relationships you could be in, but I think most of the discourse online is around these two. But on the complete other side of that coin, if you are a man trying to seek a relationship and you're having trouble finding a partner, where does that leave you? Well, I have an answer for you, but it's a tough pill to swallow. Every time something is brought up about men in society, the solution is always the same. Men need to change. And I really, really wish that wasn't the case. It would be amazing if people could just love you for being you. I mean, that's what they told us would happen when we were growing up, but that's not reality. So now you either adapt and grow, or you wait for a systemic solution to the male loneliness epidemic. I personally choose to grow because I believe all people should. Thinking you were born with the perfect default factory settings to me is crazy. I think as times change, especially, you need to adapt. And I also think that 99% of the time, you have to grow to get the life you desire. And growing in this context means learning how to be a good partner. The world no longer rewards you for just showing up. In the past, we as men got away with not developing ourselves in relationships because all we needed to do was provide the money and the security. But that's not the case anymore. We have to actually get along with our partner and respect them and emotionally mature as individuals. And also with this growth comes the responsibility of choosing a suitable partner. Because it isn't all about you. Obviously, a woman can choose you and want to be with you, and that could be great. But if you don't think she's going to be a good mother to your children, or you guys just don't get along very well because you're not compatible, that's not going to end well either. So you don't just grow to be worth picking, you grow a strong discernment on the type of partner you actually need in your life. But you should look at all of this as a good thing. Growth is good. You should want to grow. You should want to be a better person. And there we have it. I turned a funny tweet into a serious topic. It's a special talent of mine. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Shokin!